Hello, my dear children and parents. Welcome to Indus Valley Public School RAT e-learning classes of English, where we will do a lesson from your book Footprints Without Feet. Lesson number 4. The name of the lesson is A Question of Trust. This lesson is written by Victor Canning, who was a prolific British writer of novels and thrillers who flourished in the year 1950s, 60s and 70s. Children, in this story we will find a character, protagonist Horace Tanvi, who is having a personal attributes, or you can say personal trait of good looking, and he was unmarried, honest but not fully honest. He was of 50 years. He was healthy except he was having a hay fever, that is allergy from dust or any smell. By profession he used to make locks, and he used to have two helping his business. So now this story is in the flashback. So he's telling, like 15 years old, he had served his first and only sentence in prison library. So he has spent his 15 years in the library of prison, and there he started serving the library. His hobby was to read rare and expensive books, for which he used to rob every year to buy these rare and expensive books. Another protagonist of the story is a lady whose name is not mentioned in this story. She is a lady with a rare personality. She is full of confidence and perfectly presented herself as the lady of the house. Even she took the dog into her confidence that it was rubbing against her in a friendly manner. In a very subtle way, she told Horace that she wanted to wear the jewels in the safe to a party that night. She made him open the safe without gloves. Horace willingly handed over the jewels, and she decamps with them. So this is the character sketch of both the characters. Now coming towards the explanation. Everyone thought that Horace Tanvi was a good, honest citizen. He was about 50 years old and unmarried, and he lived with a housekeeper who worried over his health. So now Horace Tanvi, 50 years old, unmarried person, okay, is half honest person who used to live with his housekeeper, and this housekeeper every time worried about his health. In fact, he was usually very well and happy except for attack of hay fever in summer. So in summer he was having allergy, so he started sneezing at that point of time, and otherwise he was a healthy person. He made locks and was successful enough at his business to have two helpers. So he was very successful in his business, and the business was to make locks, and he was earning quite good profit so that he can hire two helpers in that business. Yes, Horace Tanvi was a good and respectable but not completely honest. So he was having a good reputation in the society. Everybody think that he is good and respectable person, but there is something that makes him a little bit incomplete honest. Okay. Now, 15 years ago, Horace had served his first and only sentence in the prison library. So something happened 15 years ago. What happened? At that time, he had served in the library as a librarian. He loved rare, expensive books, so he robbed a safe every year. So in order to buy the rare and expensive book, means तो बहुत ज़्यादा costly book होती easily available नहीं होती है. He want to purchase that kind of book, and for that he wants to have extra money, and so that he used to rob a almirah or safe, you can say. Each year he planned carefully just what he would do, stole enough to last for 12 months, and secretly bought the book he loved through an agent. So every year he planned a robbery so that he can survive for 12 months in order to purchase the book for a year. And then once he have a money, he used to purchase that book from agents. Now, walking in the bright July sunshine, now story of July, in the month of July, he felt sure that this year's robbery was going to be as successful as all the others. So this year, in the month of July, he was planning for a robbery, and he was very sure that this will be a successful robbery. For 2 weeks, he had been studying the house at Shotover Grange, looking at its room, its electric wiring, its path and its garden. So he was having a quite deep study of the house which he is going to rob, and this house belonged to Shotover Grange. So he studied about electric wiring, path, garden, entrance, and everything. This afternoon, the two servants who remained in the Grange while the family was in London had gone to the movie. So whole family of Shotover was in London, except this servant who went to see the movie. Horace saw them go and he felt happy in spite of a little tickle of hay fever in his nose. So as soon as he saw the servant went to see the movie, he was very happy. Horace was very happy. There were little bit allergy was there, even though he was happy that he can easily rob the house. He came out from behind the garden wall and took his tools carefully packed in a bag on his back. So he just came inside the house from the back of the garden. He was carrying a bag which is filled with tools. There was about £15,000 worth of jewelry in the Grange safe. So £1 is equal to 103 in Indian currency. So here he is saying that Grange was having something £15,000 of jewelry in his safe. If he sold them one by one, he expected to get at least 5,000, enough to make him happy for another year. So now Horace is thinking that if he's going to sell all the jewelry one by one, so he will be getting a minimum amount of 5,000. That is enough for him to purchase the books for a year. There were 3 very interesting books coming up for the sale in the autumn. Now he would get money, he wanted to buy them. So now he is saying in this year 3 books are coming that he can easily purchase from this robbery. He had seen the housekeeper hang the key to the kitchen door on a hook outside. So he already seen, as he was inquiring that house 2 weeks before, so he has seen that servant, they have hang the key on the door of the kitchen. He put on a pair of gloves, took the key and opened the door. So in order to escape from the handprints, or you can say fingerprints, he just put up the gloves and he opened the door by using the key. He was always careful not to leave any fingerprints. A small dog was lying in the kitchen. It stirred, made a noise and moved its tail in a friendly way. So there was this dog in front of the kitchen. You can say lying in the kitchen. He was stirring, moving here and there. He started making noise, and after some time he stopped and he started behaving in a friendly manner. "All right, Sherry," Horace said as he passed. "And you had to do to keep the dogs quiet was to call them by their right names and show them love." So as soon as this dog was making noise, so Horace called him by his name, Sherry, and said, "All right," and he started showing his affection towards the dog. So it is said that in order to control the dog, it is necessary to call them by their names, and you can show a little affection, then they will be under your control. So same thing is done by Horace. The safe was in the drawing room behind a rather poor painting. So where was the safe? Safe was behind the painting. Horace wondered for a moment whether he should collect pictures instead of books, but they took too much room. In a small house, books were better. So after seeing the picture, Horace's mind turned to have the collection of pictures, but his house was very small. So he's saying it's better to have the books because picture is going to occupy a large space, and books will have a small space and they can be kept quietly, safely there. There was a great ball of flowers on the table. The Horace felt his nose tickle. So now on the table, this bowl was kept. On that, flower were there. He had a little sneeze and then he put down his bag. He carefully arranged his tools and had 4 hours before the servant returned. So now he was having tickling in his nose. As the flower was kept there, he was having the smell of that flower and it started sneezing. He started sneezing. So now he just kept all the tools, whatever he brought inside his bag, on the table very carefully, and he knows he has only 4 hours before the servant returns. So within the 4 hours he has to do all the work. The safe was not going to be hard to open. After all, he had lived with locks and safe all his life. So now for him, opening the safe or cupboard was not very tough because he is a businessman. He was dealing with the locks and key and safe for his life. The Bulgar alarm was poorly built. He went into the hall to cut the wire. He came back and sneezed loudly as the smell of flour came to him again. So that what was the burglar alarm is theft alarm was there. It was very weak, and Horace went inside. He cut down all the wires, and then when he came back, he again sneezed because he again got the smell of the flour. How foolish people are when they own valuable things, Horace thought. Now Horace is thinking about the rich people, how much foolish they are. Why? Let's see. A magazine article had described this house, given a plan of all the rooms and a picture of this room. The writer had even mentioned that the painting hid a safe. So now all the description of rich people's house is presented in a magazine, and even it was told that safe is hidden behind the picture. So now Horace is calling all the rich people as fools. But Horace found that flour were hindering him in his work. He buried his face in his handkerchief. So now what happened? This flour was continuously giving him tickling in his nose. So he was sneezing. So what he did? He just buried his face. Like see in the picture. Put a hanky over the nose and all. So that way he did. Then he heard a voice say from the door, "What is it? A cold or hay fever?" So as he was having sneezing, suddenly he heard a voice. And that voice was asking whether that sneezing is because of cold or of any allergy. Before he could think, Horace said, "Hay fever," and found himself sneezing again. So before he could recognize the voice or something like that, he immediately replied, "It's hay fever," and again started sneezing with a cheekana. The voice went on, "You can cure with it a special treatment, you know. If you find out just what plants give you the disease, I think you would better see a doctor if you are serious about your work. I heard you from the top of the house just now." So that voice was continuously coming towards and giving him the suggestions that you should keep away from that particular plant which is giving you sneezing. If you're serious about your work, means what your robbery work, if you're really serious, then you should see a doctor and control your this hay fever, because she was able to hear his sneezing sound at the top of the house. When she was at the top of the house, she heard that somebody is sneezing inside the house. So in order to get the cure, he should take a treatment from the doctor, or he should stay away from a particular plant that is giving him sneezing. It was a quiet, kindly voice, but one with firmness in it. So a lady, that voice was of a lady. She was having very kind voice, but it is very firm. It's what rigid, stiffness voice. A woman was standing in a doorway, and Sherry was rubbing against her. A lady was standing near the door, and Sherry, that dog, he was rubbing his. That dog was rubbing his head towards that lady. She was young, quite pretty, and was dressed in red. So that lady description was she was very young, pretty, and she was having red dress. See, she walked to the fireplace, straightened the ornaments there. So now what happened? She just moved towards the place where fire was kept, and she was putting all the ornaments, whatever the showpiece was kept, she was just making them proper. Your ornament, do not paint the jewelry. It is your showpiece that is kept over there. "Down, Sherry," she said. "Anyone would think I was away for a month." So now she's telling the dog, "Just sit down there." And she started explaining that everybody is thinking that I am not present in the house. Like she started telling the people, or you can say Horace, that she was the owner of the house, and people mistaken that she is not present inside the house. She smiled at Horace and went on, "However, I came back just in time, though I did not expect to meet a Bulgar." So now she's telling that after seeing towards Horace, and she gave a smile, people were not expecting me here, but I came in time, otherwise you have robbed my house. Horace had some hope because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. So now, this thing, no, Horace was having some kind of hope that she's not going to hand over him to the police, or she can allow him to go, because that lady started talking in a very friendly manner. He might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. He replied, I didn't expect to meet one of the family. So now Horace is thinking that if he's going to reply in a correct way to the lady, then he is going to escape from that particular place. So he said that he was not expecting anyone inside the house, any family members inside the house. She nodded. I see what an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. So now lady nodded her head when she shook her head front and back, and she said, yes, I am seeing the uncomfortability of yours, how inconvenient you are here after seeing me. Okay? What are you going to do now? Now she started, what are you going to do? Horace said, my first thought was to run. Of course, you could do that, but I would telephone the police and tell them all about you. They would get you at once. So now Horace is saying that after seeing you, I thought of running from this particular place. So on this, lady is replying that yes, you can do this thing, but I should telephone the police and make you to get in touch, means they can catch you easily. Horace said, I would of course, but cut the telephone wire first, and then he hesitated. So he started telling, before I start my robbery, I should cut all the phone lines and something like. But in between he gave a pause and said, a smile on his face, I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough. So now smiling, he just smiled towards the lady and said, please do not do anything for some hours. Give me some time and I will go from this particular place. For me, some hours is more than enough to do my work and to go safely. She looked at him seriously. You would hurt me. So now she is saying that, okay fine, मतलब कि you are going to hurt me. मुझे unconscious mode में डाल दोगे और यहाँ से तुम चले जाओगे, isn't it? Horace paused and then said, I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that. So now Horace is saying that by saying that thing means give me some time, you will not be able to do. मतलब उसको hit कर देता, उसको unconscious mode में ले आता, faint कर देता. So now Horace is saying, by saying all this word, I mean that I am going to frighten you. मैं तो आपको डरा दूंगा. Or you didn't frighten me. Then lady is saying that no, you are not able to frighten me. Horace suggested, it would be nice if you would forget you ever saw me. Let me go. Now he started pleading to the lady that just forget whatever you are seeing. Just forget that you have met me. And he asked that let him go from that particular place. The voice was suddenly sharp. Why should I? You were going to rob me. If I let you go, you will only rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you. The lady started in a very rough voice, in a sharp voice, and said, okay, you are going to rob my house, and then how can I make you free from that particular place? If I allow you to go, then you are going to rob the society, and the people of the society should be secure from the people like you. She started in this way. Okay, no, I won't allow you to go. If I allow, you are going to rob somebody else's place. Horace smiled. I'm not a man who threatens society. So now this Horace, by smiling, he started saying that I'm not that kind of person who is going to threaten the society. Means I'm not the person who is going to, you can say, make afraid society people. I steal only from those who have a lot of money. I steal for a good reason, and I hate the thought of prison. So now he started saying, I'm only rob those people who are having ample amount of money, and my reason is very good. I'm not going to harm anyone. And he is telling that he is having the fear of prison. He did not like prison. She laughed and he begged, thinking that he had persuaded her. So now what happened? She started laughing and he started begging, and then he think that my lady will follow him. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I'm desperate. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it. So now Horace is saying that, see, and very desperate, means he was very much desperate to go from that particular place. He did not want to come in the hand of the police. So he started pleading the lady and said, please, please let me go from this particular place. She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, you're really afraid of going to prison, aren't you? Now this lady was silent and watching the expression of the person, and she said, yes, you're really afraid of going to the prison. She came over to him, shaking her head. I have always liked the wrong kind of people. Now this lady started telling that, see, like all these kind of people, means wrong people who are doing wrong deeds. She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. So now she went near the table, and from there she picked up a box made up of silver and she took out the cigarette. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave him a cigarette lighter. So now in order to impress the lady, what he did, he just removed the gloves from his hand and gave the lighter to the lady in order to lit the cigarette. You let me go. He held the lighter towards her, and this person, Horace, again said to the lady by offering the lighter, please let me go from that particular place. Yes, but only if you will do something for me. Now lady said, yeah, I can allow you to go, but you have to do something for me. Anything you say. Immediately Horace said, yes, I'm ready to do anything. Just let you say me something. Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewelry to our bank, but I left them here in the safe. So now this lady started cooking up a story. She said, before means my husband and I were planning to leave London. My husband told me to put all the jewelry to the bank, but I forgot it's inside the safe. I want to wear them tonight party, so I came down to get them. But now this lady is saying, this jewelry I just want to wear, but what happened? So that I just came down, but something happened. Let's see what happened. Horace smiled. You have forgotten the number to open the safe, haven't you? Now Horace smiled at the lady and he said, okay, fine, you just forget the number how to open the safe, because this safe was number locked. And he smiled. Yes, replied the young lady. So she was affirmatively replying this. Yes, I forgot the number. Just leave it to me and you will all have them within an hour, but I will have to break your safe. Now this person, Horace, telling that lady that it's not a big deal. Within an hour, I'll give you all your jewelry, but for that I have to break your safe. Don't worry about it. My husband won't be here for a month and I will have the safe mended by that time. Now this lady, very cunning lady, she said, no, it's not a problem. You can do your work. And she was making sure that her husband, Shotover, was not going to come back a month. He will be coming within a month. So by that time, she is going to repair the safe. Mended means to repair. And within an hour, Horace had opened the safe, given her the jewelry and gone happily away. So within an hour, he just opened the cupboard, safe, and handed over all the jewelry to the lady. For 2 days, he kept his promise to the kind young lady. So for 2 days, he did not think of any bad thing. He did not think of robbery, and he was staying very calm and quietly as he promised to the lady. On the morning of the third day, however, he thought of the books he wanted and he knew he would have to look for another safe. So another day, on the third day, he started thinking of the books for which he just want to have that books. So again, he started planning to rob another safe. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. So he was unable to start his plan. By noon, policeman had arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover's ranch. So now in the afternoon, he was arrested for the robbery that was conducted in the house of Shotover. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. So now everywhere he removed the gloves at the time when he offered the cigarette lighter, and then he opened the whole cupboard from his nude hand. That time no gloves was there, so everywhere fingerprints were showing. And then he started telling the owner's wife told him to open the safe and give all the jewelry to him, but no one was believing to his story. The wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, said that the story was nonsense. Now the real wife, she came to the scene. She was of 60 years. She was having grey hair, and she said, "It is all nonsense. Whatever this Horace is telling me. What is the Horace is telling? All this story is cooked up, and it's of no sense." So that lady was the culprit. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who has in the same profession as he was and who tricked him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves. So now what happened? When now this time this Horace is inside the jail and he is serving as a librarian there. And whenever he sit in a very silent mode, he started thinking of the lady who had tricked him, and who had loved him. He was into the same profession. She was into the same profession. She took all the jewelry from him, and now he used to get very angry because when people talks about honor among thieves, it's an, you can say, proverb, or you can say idiom. That means in the same profession there should be respect among the thieves, not to commit crimes against each other. So like एक ही जैसे प्रोफेशन में क्राइम नहीं होना चाहिए, एक ही जैसे प्रोफेशन में रिस्पेक्ट होना चाहिए. So here he did not find that thing. He did not find that thing, and so he was getting angry कि एक thief मुझे ही बेवकूफ़ बना के चला गया that way. Okay. So I think the conclusion of the story is it focuses on the message that we should not trust anyone blindly without finding out the truth about that person. Okay, this is the story. So we should trust the person once we should know that person. Okay, so now there were some questions in between the story. That was, what does Horace Danby like to collect? I think it's very easy to find out the answer. Why does he steal every year? Who is speaking to Horace Danby? Who is the real culprit in the story? So children, go through the video and find out these answers. Hope you have understood the video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.